Hi folks, glad you could join me again. I'm Stephen Cronin, welcome to another watercolour demo, and today I've dived into the archives for this one. I've painted, I felt as if some of the recent stuff was a bit naff. I just didn't like it, so I've tried to get back on track. I've gone to some of my familiar subjects, and I've looked at one of my old paintings that's on a, in fact I think it's an old demo. I'm sure I've done a demo of this one years ago on YouTube. But this is like a simple river scene. I'll show you the painting now that I've been working from. So there's the original. As I say, I'm sure I've done a demo of that on YouTube. It was one of my favourite demos actually that I've done. So I went back to this one to try and get back on track. Because like I say, I just thought yesterday's painting, I didn't even show anyone. I just threw it straight in the bin. Quite rare that is. Normally I'll just plough on and see how, but it just wasn't working. So this is what I've used today. The colours I've used ultramarine, lemon yellow. I didn't use the Payne's grey. Touch of alizarin crimson in the sky, raw sienna, burnt umber, and a bit of light red. They're all Cotman watercolours that I use. And then the brushes. Got the large Ron Ranson hake, does most of the work, well, does about 99% of the work. Got two little rigger brushes, number 3 does most of it, and I'll just use this flat brush just to pull in some of the ripples in the water. And showed you these for a while. May as well push me books while you're watching. So, watercolour painting made simple. There's volume 1, 2, 3, 4. Virtually finished volume 5. Seems to be taking forever, but I will get there, promise. These are all on Amazon. Right then, let's get started with this river scene. So, first colour I'm going to go a bit of raw sienna, a bit of alizarin crimson. Push a sort of pinky sort of colour in there. Get that in there first. Then just the tip, and I'm going to go raw sienna with a bit of lemon yellow, mixing them something like that. It's just a little bit more, and then I'm going to reflect that colour into the water below. Then just the corner of the hairs into the water, just to loosen everything up again, because the brush was a little bit dry. This time lemon yellow, ultramarine. This is representing the slightly darker foliage in there. So notice I'm preserving that light area down the middle. That's my light source. That's what's going to create, hopefully, fingers crossed, most of the interest. So into those colours again, and now I'm going to work out the horizon line is going to be something like that. That's going to go up there like that, and I'll get a few shadows in there a bit later. Bring that round there, and slightly lower this side. Set up a little bit more, slightly lower, and that's going to come down. Initial bangs are going to be about there, and then there's going to be a few more like that. And then this side, I mean, you can sketch this in with a pencil if you find it easier. I mean, when I was learning in the very early days, I always used to pencil things in. And then after a while, I just started going straight in with the paints. So that's the sort of main layout in place. So, the paper's stretched slightly, so I'm just going to pull it tight against this board so that it's flat. And then once it's flat, it's good to go. Just going to soak up, running my brush along there, just to soak up the pools of water along the bottom. Right then, let's switch to the number 3 rigger brush now. I'm going to go into those distant colours. Same colours I used for the sky. And I'm going to start popping in a few trees and things that are right in the background now. And at the same time bring down the reflections. A bit more water. Same again, same colours again. Pull down the reflections at the same time because you'll only forget to do them like I do. Push some right over into the light area. I'm going to go a little bit stronger now. Taking a bit of ultramarine into it. Put a bit of painted burnt umber in there as well. You see these ones going on a bit stronger now. These ones are a little bit closer. But these will all soften off. A lot of it will fade as the paper dries and as the paint dries. Right then, I'm going brown and blue. These ones are going on pretty strong, these ones now. You see? Again, I'm just putting down the reflections as I go along. But I'm not pressing too hard because I want them to be quite narrow. I don't want big broad strokes. I'm reserving those for the closest ones. Right, so that's a sort of distant and middle ground stuff. So if I clean the brush, go back into a bit of raw sienna, a bit of lemon yellow, a bit of alizarin. See now I'm putting these in stronger now. So that's going up there like that. Something like that. And a bit more ultramarine, a bit of burnt umber. A little bit darker, maybe a touch of light red in there as well. Bit of raw sienna. Let's bring that down there into that layer. Bit of ultramarine just to darken it a little bit. Right then. I just want to make sure this is flat because I'm going to just do a little bit of scraping with the plastic card just to suggest a few little rocks here and there. So if I just take my little card and then I'm just going to try not to overdo it. Something like that. Now the light's coming down here, so I'm doing it left-handed on this side because I want the light to catch the side. So you imagine the light's coming, so it's catching the right-hand side of the shadows on the left. Bring those in a little bit. So that's just a few little rocks just to get it started. Little darks here and there, bit of brown down there, bit of burnt umber. And See that brown and blue really sort of darkens it. A bit of red on there as well. So you often see I'll often have like at least 2 or 3 colours on the brush at any one time. So I just have a bit of that, bit of that, bit of that. Not only is it mixing on the brush, it's mixing on the paper as well. Just gives you a bit more variation in colour. Right then, before I go any further, I think I need some more trees now. So let's go back to the rigger brush. These ones I want pretty strong, so I'm going brown and blue. Lots of water, plenty of paint. And so this time, let's have a big one up here. That's going up there. A few little limbs going to just strengthen that a bit there. And then I'm guessing the reflection is going to be something like that. Let's pop another one in there. Again, the reflection is going to be somewhere about there. Reload the brush. Another one there. I'm still not pressing down very hard because I'm saving the broadest strokes for the ones closest to us. Which, mind you saying that, looking at the old painting, we ain't coming too much closer than this. There's just the main one that cuts across there. I might do that one slightly thicker this time. I'm going to put that one in. The reflection down there. Remember, there is a little bit of foliage to go on these as well, which I haven't done yet. Just fill that gap in there, put someone in there, and then let's have another one up there. A few cross pieces. And remember, don't forget the reflection down below. Something down there and down there. You can always cut across these again in a bit. So let's put this sort of main, I'm going to come from there, I'm going to cut straight across there. Sort of wobbling it as I go along. And then just quite very light touch. I just want to just a few little twigs and things coming off it. Pop that reflection in, so that one's coming straight across there like that. Right, let's get a bit of foliage. So to do that, I've got to clean this brush. Let's just dry that first. Right then, let's clean that brush. So I'm just giving it a swish around in the water jar, and then I'm just squeezing the water out with my thumb and forefinger like that. Take the excess, take the rest of it off on the tea towel, scuff it up, just so that the hairs are going all over the place. Right, let's go into that raw sienna, and you see it's coming off. This is what you call dry brushing. So the beauty of this is I can bash around like this, and not a lot of paint's coming off the brush, so I ain't got to worry about blocking it all in and not being able to see the background. So start off with a light touch of that, then I'm introducing, notice I'm not cleaning the brush, So now I've got two colours on the brush. I've got lemon yellow and raw sienna. And now I'm going to introduce some ultramarine to the mix, and this is where it gets a little bit darker. Oh, that's gone really dark now, isn't it? But see how the hairs are getting closer together, so I'm having to be careful now. Let's try and spread them out a bit. Oh, that's not, just having to be careful because it's not, that's not ideal. I could do it more spread out than that, but let's put something like that. I don't need real reflections. I don't think we're getting that right, are we? Let's clean the brush again. I might just go back into the lemon yellow. Go back into that lemon yellow. And obviously it'd probably be easy if I just squeeze out some fresh paint. I'm relying on it being nice and sticky to get at my brush there. Before I go, I'm not getting enough off to make any difference. I don't know if I even need it. I think what I definitely need now is start popping in a few shadows. What shall I do? First, actually, what I'll do first of all is just go into the burnt umber, ultramarine. Now I do need a new hake brush. This is well worn now. I can hardly get a chisel edge with it. I might have to use the flat brush. I'm not sure yet. I'll have to see how we get on. I'm just mixing. It's not a very. Instead of it being, it's about that thick. The end of the brush. It's not. Doesn't come to an actual point. But it might be just enough. It's probably just enough there to work okay. I might just try and scrape. A little bit more in before I start doing the shadows. Just making those banks a little bit stronger, a bit more defined. Right then, it's just a little bit of scraping, not too much. I'll just paint over with the shadows where I think I've gone a bit too much. Right, I think it's time for the shadows now, so I just need to make sure it's dry first. So shadows, very simple mix. These not too much water on the brush, and then I'll just take a bit of brown, bit of red, bit of blue, mix them together to get a sort of bluey grey type colour. Right then, so I want a few shadows in there, pull a few down in the reflections. Just take it up a little bit higher. A few shadows there, let's take a few up there as well. And I think what I might do, just to finish it off, I'll just use a clean damp brush. So it's just a clean damp brush, and then I'm just sort of bringing some of that colour and just let's just cut through it. Just cut. That wasn't quite enough. I don't know if this is strong enough. Tell you what, let's do it with the flat brush. Let's do it with a flat brush. So again, it's just a clean damp brush. I'm just taking some of the colour and just bringing it out into the water, and then just cutting through little bits here and there. But it make sure it's parallel with the bottom of the paper. Don't do them sort of slanted. Let's take a few of these. Just makes the water just a little bit more realistic. Right, I think I'm gonna. Oh, I'm just gonna put a little bird. I'm gonna have the little bird as the focal point. I think very, very. Very subtle little focal points. It's just somewhere about there. In the distance, that's it. And I'm going to call that one done now, I think. I just need to make sure that's dry before I sign it. Right then, let's stick a mount on that then and see what it looks like. So here's our finished painting in its mount. So let's see how it compares to the original painting. So you can see over there that the old painting I was working from. So I've tried to keep all the elements in the same place as before. Probably prefer the original if I'm honest. But if we start at the back, right at the beginning with the sky. So I was going for this sort of pinky colour, which was raw sienna and alizarin crimson. Sort of brush that in from either side all the way down to the bottom, so you can see how it's reflected either side of the light area down the middle. Then introduced a bit of ultramarine with the lemon yellow as well, just to try and create a sort of green, general green background. And then if you look at all the different trees I've done, starting with the very, very faint ones there that were put in when the paper was pretty wet, through to the sort of slightly darker ones there, right through to the strongest ones right here in the sort of nearest foreground. Same on the other side. All these trees, putting them in at the different times of the paper drying process helps create that sense of depth from these sort of faint ones in the background right through to the closest one, putting in the darkest tone, cut straight across, and then some of that foliage as well, cuts deliberately placed into the light area to get that maximum contrast. Put a few shadows in here as well, and then just scraped in the rocks, try to keep them subtle, so easy to overdo it. A few more over on this left hand side. Just simply scraped in with a plastic card. Then you sort of automatically get that effect where, imagine the light's coming down, just catching the right hand side, and then just leave the little shadowy bit on the left. So the water, you can see here where I've used the brush, initially used the hake brush, but I can't get it, I need to get a new one, I can't get a chisel edge with it, so I switched to the flat brush just to pull some of the paint from the banks and then across into the water, just to make it look like ripples or something on the water surface, and then cut across these dark sections again. Done the same thing over on the left hand side as well, and then finally see our little bird up there, start of the show. So that's it for this one. I hope you enjoy that. Thanks for, as always, for watching. Thanks for all your support. If you want to join me over on Patreon, patreon.com/Stephen Cronin, you'll see the link below in the description. Your support would be very much appreciated. And remember, we've got all the books on Amazon. This painting, as well as all the others, are in my eBay shop. All the links in the description. So, till next time, keep practicing, and I'll see you again soon.